Wow.
It's not what you think.
Well, the fact is, you could have called me. I was going to call you anyway.
Okay.
Why are you coming around with a psychiatrist? I'm Ben, he's a psychiatrist, I'm not a nurse.
This is a psychiatrist. It's just us two, no one else, no police, no nothing.
Well, it's not a nice thing because you could have called me quite easily.
I know, but we haven't been able to I haven't been able to get you to agree to see a doctor or to let me come.
Well,
around.
what actually happened was I said I'll call you back. I said I'll probably come and see you. I was even thinking, because the thing is, you seem to back off after I quite forcefully pushed you back, because you're getting quite aggressive.
Okay.
And I pushed back quite hard, and then you seem to back off a bit. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll just be nice and say, okay, well, I'll let you come round. Now, I don't know what you're doing here, because this isn't very nice. You come around with a psychiatrist at my house. It's always about the drugs. It's never about anything else.
No, we just because I'm quite concerned that you haven't seen any doctors.
You're not concerned. If you're concerned, you give me a call and I'll tell you I'm fine.
I know, but I need to see you properly. And can we come in for like 10 minutes?
You really don't need to see me properly, You really don't. I'm fine.
I know, but we're worried about you.
You're not. If you're worried, you give me a call.
I have spoken to you on the phone.
Yeah, you spoke to me on the phone, and then what you then say, if I fail to call you back, then you call me, and then you say, you said you would meet me, and this is what happened last time. I'm recording you on my phone again.
Okay,
I will be putting this on YouTube because it's a bit ridiculous.
Okay.
There is absolutely no. Can I have your name, by the way?
Ahmed. My name's Ahmed.
Ahmed, Dr. Ahmed, right. There is absolutely no reason for you to be here. If you were really concerned, you'd call me and ask if I'm okay. I had said, fine, I'll come and I'll arrange a meeting. If you're concerned, you ring me and you said you'd meet me. You haven't called me back for that meeting.
But I've been asking you for quite a long time to.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. What happened was you got very aggressive. I pushed back, and then you backed off, as you should have done. And the real reason why I was going to invite you on is because I wanted nothing to do with the NHS again. I wanted you gone. Because it's only about the drugs. It's not about my well-being. It's about arresting me and sending me to hospital. Because if it was about my well-being, like I said, you can just call. You can just call and say, "Are you alright?" And I was going to come and see you. I never refused to come and see you. This is I don't know what you're doing at my house.
We did send a letter, Alan, before in August, September for an outpatients. Do you remember that?
You've done this before, where you send a letter. There's a solid agreement that I don't need to attend, and then you come around knocking at my house with a psychiatrist. This is quite threatening to me.
Well, sorry if we come across like that, but the reason we are here is not to threaten you, but because we are concerned about you. That's why we are here.
Well, there's nothing to be concerned about. So
that's where we tend to differ, isn't it?
But what right do you have to come around my house?
Well, we are here just for the welfare check, Alan.
I've not threatened my own well-being. I've not threatened anyone else's well-being. I'm finally doing well enough to run a mile. I'm physically recovering. So...
But you will understand that we also have a duty of care towards our patients and clients.
Your duty of care, your supposed duty of care and your supposed fulfilling of that is what crippled me for half of last year. I couldn't walk. When you finally stopped and left me alone, I could walk again and I got better. I still have slightly drawn thighs. I don't want anything to do with you. Okay?
Will you let us come in for 10 minutes?
No, I don't want you in my house.
Okay.
You come in for one reason and one reason only. Now the fact is, I'm owed quite a significant amount of benefits.
Okay.
What's happening with that? You're supposed to give me the direct payments, and my disability was supposed to increase. If you're worried about my well-being, I was going to food bank for a very long time because I couldn't even afford food. Where's the money? I mean, if this is about my well-being, where's the money?
Do you remember we met with Gareth from the Money Advice?
Yeah,
and he was trying to
we
help
got
you.
one thing done, and then we had that one meeting, and that's it.
Because you didn't want to pursue a claim for PIP. Remember, he was
No,
going to do
it wasn't. I didn't want to pursue a claim. It's just I didn't want to get done at that moment.
Okay.
And I think didn't we leave it that you're going to have the letters sent round to my house or something, and I could sign on myself. And then I also asked to say, I'll be happy to see a psychologist. I actually wanted to see a psychologist.
I know, but I've spoken to the team and they don't feel that they can work with you at the moment.
You didn't tell me that though, did you? So if it's about my well-being and me being resistant to your supposed help, then I was perfectly happy to talk to a psychologist, speak to Claire. I was very happy to do that. But you're not happy for that to happen. So like I said, if it's about my well-being, you would allow that to happen, because I'm perfectly happy to do that. I was almost saying, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So it's obviously not about my well-being. What were you about to say?
Sorry, that's part of the that's why we are here for, actually, to do the assessment, not just for medical purpose, but also for social purposes and psychological purposes as well. Because we spoke with Claire, and she requested a medical assessment before a psychological assessment can be done. So, and so it's not just about one thing. The assessment basically needs to be done for your benefits, for medical needs, or psychological needs, and other needs if there are.
This is the thing. You called me, and I was going to come around and come and see you.
If I give you and say, all right, okay, let's do it your way. If I give you an appointment for, let's say, for next week to Waverley Road, would you come?
But do you have a right to force yourself on me?
No, that's why we're not forcing us onto you. We are only discussing the options here.
But if you're at my house without my consent.
This is for the welfare check, Alan, as we mentioned before.
Yeah, but I need to consent to that. Do you not need to consent to
for
that? For
welfare check, maybe not. You
can disguise anything as a welfare check.
But we're not forcing ourselves into your property, are we?
Well, you're on my property, and I don't want you here.
Which is fine.
Would you be willing to come and see the doctor next week at Waverley Road?
I'll think about it.
This is what I'm concerned about, because every time we talk about any appointments, you often say you'll think about it, and then I don't hear back.
Well, that's the thing. You couldn't call me on the phone.
But
no, because the thing is, again, what happened last time? You had every opportunity to call me. If you're concerned about my well-being, you call me over the phone.
Yeah, but
why did you not call me?
We cannot do the assessment over the phone.
No, but if it's about not being able to contact me.
No, because
if it's about wanting to arrange an appointment, you can call me on the phone again and say, hey, I want to remind you.
That.
No, you didn't.
No, but I mean, I've tried to get you to come in to see a doctor for several months now.
No. All that's already happened was you called me, and because you had backed off, because the more aggressive you get, the more I push back. You had called me. And because you had seemingly become less aggressive, I decided, fine, I'll be nice about it, and I was going to invite you around. If you had simply called me and said, we had said we were going to meet. If you had simply called me and done that, I probably would have said you can come round.
But last time we spoke on the phone, I asked you if I could come over, and you haven't sort of committed to any appointments. Either me coming here.
All I said was, you know what? Seeing as you're being nice, I'll let you arrange an appointment. Now, were you recording me when you during that call? Because it was quite. Oh no. I actually don't have much of a problem with it. It's just it's technically illegal if you don't inform the person if you're calling from an organisation.
We don't record our phone calls.
I just thought I'd let you know that, just in case that's what was going on.
Okay, because you said that when I was on the phone.
No. I said it was. I'm actually not that bothered, but there was a resonation with the speaker. I was on speakerphone.
No, you weren't on speaker.
It sounded a lot like that. I'm not even particularly bothered.
Because I explained to you at the time.
I recorded the call as well.
That's fine. I've never recorded a call that I've had with you ever. But because it's an open plan office, there was lots of background noise because there's people next to me on the phone as well.
We don't record any conversation with the clients
No.
at all.
Well, okay, I might arrange this appointment with you. I'd much rather not meeting at a clinic. I'd rather just, because you seem to lie a lot.
Okay.
So you say it's not an inpatient clinic.
It's not.
So-
Waverley Road. He was worried it was an inpatient.
It's not inpatient, it's outpatient.
There's no beds there at all.
Maybe I'll just go around to meet you in town.
But what I need is for you to meet with the doctor.
Why? For what purpose? A welfare check?
Assessment.
Why do I need an assessment?
Well, that's what the whole purpose is for. As I said, that the assessment actually doesn't only mean medical assessment, it also means assessment for everything, overall assessment, medical, psychological, social.
And the thing is, you also mentioned benefits, you seem to cut that out again. If it's about, I'd rather just sacrifice never having benefits, any more benefits, cut the DLA, cut the direct payments, if it means not speaking to you again, because you have disabled me. It's your drugs that have done this to me. So if you simply cut the drugs...
Well, that doesn't help you. How does that help you?
Because less involvement with you means less drugs that make me crippled.
And we're not talking about drugs here, are we?
You come around with a psychiatrist to my door.
That doesn't mean that we are giving
That's quite
drugs.
that's quite funny. You could have come friendly. You could have just been you personally, without a psychiatrist, and just said hi. But you didn't want to do that. You wanted to come around. And if I hadn't answered the door, you probably would have called the police. Let's face it.
No.
Well, no, that wasn't the plan. We just came here because we haven't seen you for a long time.
Are you going to call the police?
Well, we want to avoid any. I'm trying to avoid going down that route. That's why.
You're not trying to avoid it. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for an excuse to do that.
Okay. I'm actually trying to get you to agree to meet with the doctor so that we don't need to.
Ask the people I talk to. Ask my friends I go to the food bank. Nobody has these concerns except you.
The thing is that you do have a mental health diagnosis. You are under the care of our team.
Well, this is the thing. It's part of an act. Act requires consent. I do not consent.
And would you consent to see us outside in the town? I'm happy to see you even outside the town. Let's do that.
Perhaps, but I don't particularly want to see anyone to do with psychiatry. That's the problem, because it leads to. I was having the time of my life before you lot came round. I was happy. I was doing well again, and it's that way every time.
Well, that's what your version is, Alan. But we cannot say that confidently because we haven't really done our assessment. We haven't seen you properly. And again, it comes back to the duty of care. If something happens tomorrow. We cannot say that we...
Has anything ever happened? Have I ever hurt anyone in my entire life?
It's not about that.
Have I ever hurt myself? Have I ever self-harmed?
It's not about... It's not just about that, basically. It's about, again, comes down to overall assessment.
Overall assessment.
You don't have to harm yourself or harm others to be seen by a psychiatrist, basically.
Well, clearly... Okay. What are the grounds? Because I don't want to harm myself. I don't want to see a psychiatrist. So basically, the personal desire is gone. Have you received a complaint from a member of the public about my behaviour? So
we don't need that.
So you just need to want to. What do you need? What are the grounds?
The ground, basically, as Carol said, is that you have a mental health diagnosis. You are under the care of our team, and it's our duty to make sure that you are well.
Well, the diagnosis is incorrect.
Well, again, that we can discuss. But for that, we need to see you properly.
Well,
I am open for everything, Alan, as long as you are ready to speak with us in a proper environment, not at the door.
Well, it's 9 o'clock. I was asleep. You've come to my house at a very early hour.
Yeah.
And if there is any diagnosis, it would be post-traumatic stress from my involvement with you. So it's not doing me very much good. You can send a letter. You didn't even try to send a letter this time. You didn't even try to call.
Well, we did try that. That didn't work. That's why we came here.
You tried to. You didn't try to call. You didn't even try to send a letter.
We tried the letters. We tried the calls, and everything has been tried in the last 4 months at least. one appointment you didn't turn up with myself, so...
Yes, after I counted it prior. I didn't just skip the appointment.
Alan,
That's
the one thing
fine.
which you need to understand is that we're not against you, we are on your side. And I think this is what you're not getting it. We're not working against you.
If you're on somebody's side, you don't turn up against their will.
Yes, but as a doctor, if you're a doctor...
By definition, being on somebody's side is not doing something to them against their will.
We're not doing anything. We are just talking about talking to you, basically. That's all
But
we're talking about.
okay. Do you agree with the principle of that?
Of what?
Being on somebody's side means not doing something against their will. And by the way, you are doing something against my will by being here. Your presence is against my will.
Yeah, but again, that also we need to understand. As a doctor, I have a duty of care. If you're a doctor, let's say, think about you as a doctor, and you have a patient who you're concerned about. What would you do in that case?
I would contact them in a friendly way. I'll send them a letter.
Which you have done.
Yes,
You have
and when at the moment they tell me I'm fine, they don't want me here, I'll be gone.
Yeah.
I'll leave them a number in case they change their mind.
Yeah.
And I would never contact them again without them contacting me first.
But what if you think they are making the decision because they are not mentally well? And they need some of our patients are not mentally well to even understand that. And when we speak with them or we treat them after they get better, they come and thank us because they tell us.
Have I ever thanked you?
Listen, I'm just giving an example. I'm not talking about you, Alan. It's because they say that we were so unwell at that time that we couldn't make the decision for us, and they were appreciative of the doctors and the nurses because they made the decision at the right time for them, so that they could get better and get back on, on with their life.
Well, you can say that, but that's clearly not what's going on here. This is a case where clearly I'm not grateful for any of your so-called services. I don't want them. I don't consent to them. Clearly, I'm not grateful.
Okay.
Right? And what you do, if someone's clearly not grateful after all these years, because I've never done what you're suggesting, where they come back and say, I was too unwell at the time. Thank you. It's been a very long. It's been over 12 years, and I've never come back to say thank you.
I'm not saying that
I'm saying yeah, but I don't fall into that example. I'm not part of that example.
That's fine.
I'm not seriously. I'm not done. And seriously, it comes to that sort of thing because what reminds me of psychiatry does is relationships and rape. Because when you have a relationship with someone, and you're talking about capacity, when you have a relationship with someone says no, you back off. It's a rapist who overrides that decision and overrides the no. And when you talk about capacity, too unwell, not well enough, the moment someone has the capacity to say no, as I'm saying no, that means end of story. No service is required. You are not desired here.
Okay.
To go further would be tantamount to what a rapist does, when the victim says, I don't want you here.
So do you think we could see you in the cafe, or maybe not?
Maybe in the cafe. That if you hadn't been so aggressive and come to my door with a psychiatrist, I would have gone out to the cafe with Carol.
But I think for the past few months I've tried very hard not to push you on anything, but I'm really being left with no option now that.
Okay, if it's you trying to arrange an appointment with me, when was your last text to me, and how many texts have I sent you since then?
I haven't had any messages from you since we spoke on the phone last.
Yeah, since we spoke on the phone.
Yeah.
But before that, I'd sent you texts. How many texts have I sent you between your texts and between that time and your last text? And when was your last text? Because it seems like you're not trying to make it's a very easy thing to do. You send me a text. Why have you not done that?
Because some of your texts are about your housing situation, your neighbours. They weren't really asking me questions.
But you can send me a different text then.
But the bottom line now is that I really need you to see a doctor, even just for 10 minutes, so we can do an assessment of your mental state. I'd be happy for you to stay here I mean, it's not my agenda to get you on medication. It's not my agenda to get you into hospital. I want you to carry on as you are, but we need to make sure that a doctor has seen you and had a chat with you.
Well, we can do that next week because I'm knackered.
So what do you want to do? Would you come in and see us at Waverley Road?
I'll go to the cafe. Maybe I'll go to the Waverley Road, but the cafes... I was going to... if you had simply not come to my door,
Yeah.
I would have said... Because I do suffer from memory loss, and that is a common side effect of the drugs. I forget things.
But you're not on any medication, are you?
It perseveres beyond the drugs wearing off.
Right.
And I still suffer from it. Now, I was actually thinking... I mean, I'm honest to God, this is exactly what was going on. I was thinking I was going to call Carol. I was going to say Claire. I was going to call Carol and say, you know what? Let's go out to the cafe together. I was not going to have a problem with that. And there was a reason why, when you last called, because you had backed off, that I was going to say, hey, you know what? I'll be nice about it and I'll invite her around. That's what I was going to do.
But the situation now is that it's not just about you meeting with me. We need you to meet with the doctor. And me, or on your own, it's up to you.
How has the situation changed? Have I become unclear?
No, it's just that it's...
Have I threatened someone?
It's been quite a long time now that you've not seen a doctor. It's been quite a few months.
Well, I'll see the GP. I was going to arrange an appointment with the GP.
What if one of our psychiatrists goes to meet you at the GP surgery with the GP?
Why does it have to be a psychiatrist?
Because that...
Again, for the assessment, the assessment has to be done by a psychiatrist, not by the GP. I don't think GP will be comfortable doing our job.
Well, why does it have to be a psychiatric assessment? I'm clearly fine. And the thing is, if you disagree with that, have you ever received a complaint from the public?
Well, there was issues from the housing, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's a different issue. That's not a mental health issue. I'm talking about the people near me, the people I speak to, the people I meet at the food bank.
But your neighbours have...
No. Yeah, this is the thing. You're clearly conflating it. My neighbours, you said plural. It's one neighbour, and it's pretty ridiculous what happened. I was sunbathing out of view of any of the public.
I know.
It's not illegal. I was not breaking any law. And you know, there are people who go fully bare on public bridges and public transport and things like that, and nothing happens to them. I'm just sunbathing, trying to get some rays while the summer still remains, because it does help with your acne.
Yeah.
Trying to get that sun, and that shows. First of all, that's not mental unwellness. That shows that I'm trying to take care of myself. That shows I'm actively trying to make myself better. So,
But obviously you know that the council were concerned about how appropriate the behaviour was.
well, the council
that's
the
not
council say a
why
lot
we're
of things.
here anyway.
If you want to talk about the council, you can talk about the pipes they fitted and my leaking taps that they've caused. It's actually becoming quite dangerous now because the taps that control the pipes are now leaking too. They rattle when the pressure's high.
But
Sounds
are
like
they coming
something's
out
going to go.
to sort that out?
They promised a couple of days ago. They didn't come.
I've been on the phone to them. I'll chase that up today.
Well, I can chase it up myself. But that's the issue. If you want to know about the council, they send letters demanding I take a burglar alarm system down. They send letters saying that I'm threatening my neighbour Jan, except the complaint is withdrawn when I say the incident was recorded on the camera. So again, who's lying, who's not? If I say the incident's recorded, and that's what makes her withdraw her claim, then clearly she's lying.
Only last couple of things I have to say, Alan. I think we're going around in circles here.
Oh, and not going in circles. We're going to completely different issues all the time. Maybe you're the one who needs your head checked. Jan has complained about me in the past for completely different things. Again, not related to psychology. Back in 2000, when I first moved in, she's had a problem with me from the beginning. And if you want to know who's got the problem, it's her. You ask the previous neighbours, people who used to live here and have since moved out. Their phrase for her was "mean old cunt," and I'm not. These aren't my. That's not my phrase. That's not the one I would choose to apply to her. That's what the previous residents said about her, and what she complained to me about was listening to music. and the way she complained about it was bashing down my door, threatening to call the police, not even trying to introduce herself before we'd even met. Because generally, if I had a problem with my neighbour listening to music, I'd knock politely on the door and I'd say, "Your music's a bit loud, can you turn it down?" She went ballistic from the beginning. That's the kind of person she is. She's the kind of person who complains a lot. So it's nothing to do with me. And again, you can tell.
The only thing I wanted to say was that, as you said, that we have your concerns from the neighbors and all that. First of all, we are just doing a generic assessment. We're not doing any special assessment. So for that, we don't need to have any concerns from anybody, basically. For us, knowing you as a mental health patient who is known to our team is good enough to do an assessment. We have the caseload of around 200, 300 people. We don't get any concerns about them, but we see them regularly to make sure that they are well and their needs are met. That's point one. And the point two is that we are here just for your welfare.
You don't get to decide what's best for other people, surely. Surely that's up to other people to decide what's best for them.
It's about discussing. It's a two-way discussion, isn't it?
Well, I've told you I'm fine. If you wanted to help me, you'd send money. Either if you don't think I'll spend the money well, if you think I'm going to misspend the money,
there's no concerns about that at all.
Send me vouchers to go to the shop.
Well, that's not the concern here. That's not.
We don't have that resource.
Well, it is a concern for me because it seems like I'm the only one who's really concerned about my health here because I can't afford. I've had an extended period of time where I couldn't afford food. I had to go to the emergency food bank with all the homeless people.
But when I tried to help you with an application for PIP, because you put on your forms that you didn't have any disability.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's probably why I wouldn't get it because.
Yeah, but
I have disabilities. It prevents me from work. But it's the drugs that have done this to me.
But I know that if you'd let us do the application on your behalf, we could get you the money.
I wouldn't have gotten the money on the disabilities that I actually have. If I sung the old tune of I'm free to go outside, which I'm really not. If I'm running miles as I used to, if I'm walking miles to the food bank, that's clearly not a problem. And that was one of the things that awarded the DLA payments.
Yeah, that's just for mobility though, but there's one for care as well, isn't there, which you would be entitled to.
Yeah, but that's one aspect. But I'm just giving you an example, an actual example. The one that's in that sort of thing. It's just the grounds on which I would have rewarded any of these benefits, and what originally awarded these benefits, they no longer apply to me. So those benefits are no longer appropriate for me. And even though I became disabled in other ways because of the drugs, that would entitle. I would consider it taking me on to the highest rate of DLA because that's what's happened. Not being able to walk isn't a normal thing for someone my age, although I can now, since you stopped coming around, since the drug stopped. But I won't be able to. They won't give me benefits that say, "Oh, drugs mess me up." They'll just say, "Medicine doesn't do that to you." So.
What do you want to do?
Well, I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to sever my relationship with the NHS, but that's not going to happen, is it? That's what I want. I'll just leave it till next week. I'll come and see you at the cafe.
Will you see the doctor as well?
I don't know. Why do I have to see it? Why is it so essential that I see a doctor?
Because I'm a social worker, and I'm not medically qualified. I'm not a psychiatrist. So we need both approaches. I need you to have been seen by a psychiatrist. It doesn't necessarily mean that you will have to take medication. It just means, Amit can assess you and decide that you are doing well enough without medication. And if you want to be discharged, part of the process of being discharged is we do have a final CPA meeting and people come in and we review their care plan and we put recommendations in for their future, but it's not that we don't want to discharge people.
Yeah, well,
Well, you stay with a GP in that case, so...
yeah, but and the other aspect is that, again, if it was about my well-being and you're concerned about that sort of thing, people would complain that I'm acting strangely. I've not done anything that conflicts with the bounds of self-care. If you want to help me, I'll take any food vouchers you have. I'll spend that money lightning fast.
I understand that, Alan, but that's one part of your care. About food vouchers or benefits is one part of the care.
Don't give me more benefits, because they won't give me more benefits. Not on the disabilities that I actually have. They won't give me benefits. So just send me food vouchers.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Food vouchers or benefits or whatever is one part of the care. But we're talking about the holistic care, which includes, as I said, medical, psycho, and social needs, basically.
No, and that's the thing. You say you're not being aggressive. Just as another thing. If I said no, would you send the police? Yes
well,
or
we
no?
don't want to go that route.
No, I asked yes or no.
That would be more aggressive then, isn't it?
No, because saying
If we're unable to have an assessment with a psychiatrist, then we may have to consider other options.
But surely the police only meant other options. You mean the police? Seriously,
Not
just
the
say.
police, no.
So the police will not get involved no matter what, unless of course I commit a crime. Then police should be involved.
Police would only be involved in mental health stuff if we need them to help us get access to someone.
And I'm trying to decide what is it exactly are you going to say. Is that going to happen?
Well, it depends if you're... It depends what the outcome of today is, I think.
Well, so basically, if I don't, I'm not saying I wasn't going to. I was going to say I'm happy to go to the cafe with you, but when it comes to that sort of thing, I just wanted it clear for the record.
Mm-hmm.
For the record.
Yeah, I know it's important.
That because you seem to be dodging the question, which means you know that you're doing something immoral.
Okay, I've not had any contact with the police.
No, but
you.
But I'm saying, you seem to want to avoid it. If I'm not saying this is what's happening, but if hypothetically, if I were to outright refuse this, would you contact the police? Yes or no?
Maybe.
But can I just explain the police involvement in mental health? They would only be involved if there was a point where we had attempted to see someone several times and that person had been unwilling to see us. But you have been willing.
I've
and you've opened the door, and that's fine.
And this isn't, your several time. You've not called me for a very long time.
Well, I spoke to you
and before that, for a long time, if you say you're here out of concern for my well-being, you could have called me in between that time. And again, that call that you made, how long had it been since you contacted me, and how many texts had I sent you?
But it's a bit of a catch-22 because you're telling me that I'm being aggressive. I don't feel that I've been aggressive.
You can call me. No, I'm not particularly bothered at this point. But you could have called me.
But you leave it as I will contact you, Carol, when I'm ready to see someone.
Yeah, and then you can can phone me back and say, hey, you know what, you said you'd contact me. This is much more aggressive than that.
Okay, but this has been going on for quite a few months.
Well,
now.
Why not text me?
But I've tried all of those options. I've tried.
When was your last text?
I spoke to you on the phone a couple of weeks ago.
And I said I'd arrange an appointment, and I was going to do that before you came round. So.
But that was only with me, wasn't it? You still said you wouldn't be willing to see a doctor.
Well, you didn't mention it at the time, did you?
Well, we've talked about this several times, haven't we? We've talked about this quite a lot, and you've always said to me that you wouldn't consider having any involvement with the psychiatrist.
I said I don't want to. I don't want to.
I know you don't want to.
No, okay. Thanks, Ellen.
Okay.
What do you want us to do?
To leave me alone?
Okay.
Are you going to send a letter for this appointment at the cafe? What are the arrangements for that?
Well, there's no point I understand Carol has been seeing you for some time, but the whole point is to do a medical assessment at the same time. So if we're not getting the medical assessment done, I think it does not really serve the purpose.
No, and what are you going to do now? If we left it here, what would you do?
Well,
I'm not doing anything today.
we're not doing anything first of all today. The second thing is that we will go back and discuss with the team and see what the team suggests. So depending on what the team suggests, we will make a decision. If you want us to call us back with a team decision, we can do that. And you can have a...
Well, I just said I'll come. Well, I just said I'll come and see you next week.
You see me?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, we can work on that.
Okay.
Where would you come to Waverley Road or?
Well, I prefer a cafe.
Which is fine with me, but the only thing is cafe is not very, what do you call, a private place. You know, the thing we discuss is very confidential, isn't it?
I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered about that.
It's up to you, but...
I'm not bothered in the slightest.
Okay.
Unless
I was just wondering that if we can go somewhere which is a bit more private and confidential.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a problem
Okay,
whatsoever.
let's go to the cafe.
Okay.
Let's check our diary. We'll call you back. Carol can call you back and discuss the time and date
Okay.
for next week.
Alright.
Alright. Thank you.